Alright guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. This is part 2 of what I have nicknamed the Tele Strat, or the Frankencaster. Yeah. At the end of the last video, we were working on the neck that we took off of the Telecaster body. This is a Strat neck that is Fender licensed. Let's get to work and I'll catch you up on what we've done and where we're at. I took the tuners out. I took the string trees off because this neck will not fit in the blonde Telecaster. It's a Stratocaster type neck. Very nice neck, but it had a whole bunch of problems back here. Remember, we had a big piece of chip out here. There were holes that didn't need to be there, and these holes were not mating up with the Telecaster body. So what we did was, we plugged all of the holes, hard oak dowel, and there was a big piece of chip out here, and what I use is wood Bondo. It's a two-part thing. You put some of it, just like the Bondo that you would use on a car. You put some down, you put a little bit of hardener in it, you mix it up, and you've got about 5 minutes to get it filled into the hole. You want to build it up, and then you let it cure. And within, I don't know, half an hour to an hour, literally it's sandable. And I let it go that long, longer than that, but I actually filled in a lot of little imperfections in the back of this neck heel, and then I sanded it off. Yeah, and this neck now, as far as the heel is concerned, is ready to go into another project, but not the Telecaster body. We took all of the tuners out. They were really nice locking tuners, and I'm going to show you what we did with those. This is another project. It's had several different sets of tuners on it from time to time, and all of these holes will have the same treatment that the heel had. We're going to fill them all in and get it back to where, if he ever wants to use this neck again, it will be ready and be able to drill in whatever kind of tuners he wants. All that being said, this is where we have, from there we went to there, right? So yeah, there was another neck involved in this. It is a Stratocaster neck. That one was so tight in here, and he just assumed that, the holes that were there would catch the screws and it would be good. And we had really bad string spacing issues. We don't anymore. I kind of gave the heel of this neck the same treatment that this one got, but not as severe. There were already holes in this neck, in the heel, but they were from another Stratocaster. So we filled them, gave it the same treatment, sanded them down, hard oak dowel, oversized. Then I went through the trouble to set it in there. Now, this neck fits in there semi-snugly, but it gave me the lateral movement that sometimes you need when you're doing string spacing, which was the major issue that we had with this guitar. When he brought it to me, his main complaint was, why is the E string all the way over and falling off of the fretboard? And that's what brings us to today's juncture. I spaced it all out. I got it placed in there. And you can refer to other videos that I have on my channel about how to set a neck in a body, whether it's a Fender or whatever. Usually it's a Fender because, they're all bolted. But string spacing is my hot button. And I want string spacing, first and foremost, to be nice and even on the fretboard. But I also like to see them really even over the pickups. In this case, it does have a humbucker. Down here, not so much, but it's a Bucker style. It's a Hot Rails, so you don't have to worry about it actually getting over the pole pieces. But here, that's a win if you can get the strings right over the pole pieces, and it does now. Once I got the neck clamped on, initially I used string, a high E and a low E. I only mounted two of the tuners that I took off of the other neck. Just tighten them down just so I could put 2 strings on, and that's how you start. And then you use a kind of a clamp sort of like this. This is what I use, and you kind of clamp the body and the neck together slightly. You're not really reaming it down, you're just kind of clamping it so that you can start to get your lateral movement, put a couple of strings on there. And the reason that you put 2 strings on is if the low E and the high E are lined up, all things being equal, everything else will fall in line, you would think. Once I got it to the happy place, I use a punch. In this case, I didn't use a punch. I used a drill, the same exact size as the body, to mark where I wanted the holes to be drilled in the neck. Then I take the neck out to the drill press and squarely place them. Then you keep your fingers crossed. You set the neck, you put the screws in with the plate. You don't tighten anything down. Then you put your high E and low E on again, and all things being equal, as I say, you should be able to be exactly where you first test fitted your high E and low E. And it worked out great on this one. It did need to be tweaked a little bit, and this neck, unlike the other neck wouldn't move at all. It was literally hammered into the pocket, and it would not. It was so tight that the screws, it was like acting like an opposing force. You need a little movement there. You want it to be firm and snug, but you need to be able to cock that neck just a 0.5 millimeter here or a 0.5 millimeter there, and that's how you get your string spacing to where it's livable and usable. And right now, it's about as good as it's ever going to get with a Stratocaster neck on a Telecaster body. Now, these are both Fender parts. The other one was not. Now, I say this over and over again. Fender to Fender, you're probably going to get a good result if you take your time and make sure your fitment is correct. The other neck is not a Fender, even though it's licensed by Fender. It's fatter by at least 1 millimeter, and it literally had to be hammered into the pocket. That's never a good thing, because you do need to be able to massage things a little bit. All that being said, we are there. This guitar's been sitting for 2 days, and I'm almost positive it's holding tune, and it's probably going to be intonated. I have to do a setup on it. I mean, you can see it. It's 2 days it's been sitting after I just threw the strings on it, mounted the neck, got it positioned. Oh, by the way, the tuners, that was a whole process in and of itself, because they're locking tuners, and they're the type of tuners that you don't put a screw in the back. They just sit in there, but there are 2 nipples here and here on each. There's 2 in each one of the tuners, and you have to get them positioned exactly right. How I do that is with a jig. I use a jig. The jig goes in there, and then you know exactly where to mark for those nipples. And then again, on the drill press, because you want it to be completely flat, so that you're drilling completely straight and plumb into the back of the headstock. You don't want to be sideways any which way. Don't try to do that freehand with a drill. It'll never work out. It'll end up looking like the other neck. So they're all in. They're perfect, and they're really nice tuners. They're really nice tuners, Fender lockers. And the result is, well, a couple of days it's holding tune, and I haven't even done a setup on it yet. So I'm pretty certain I have the neck relief where I want it, but I did check it the other day. But I wanted it to settle for a couple of days. So let's run through it and see what it's doing. Oh, that is sweet. That is perfect. A 12 is just snug in there. I know a 10 is perfect. I wonder where our string height is. Now, I'm going to tell you that it's a little low, but it's not buzzing anywhere. And I'm good. Oh, that one's perfect. That one's a little high. That one's a little high. That one's a little high. That one's perfect. I'm going to tell you that initially, once I set it and put all the strings on after I got the tuners in, I ran into an issue here. And I'm going to talk about this briefly. So if you ever run into this type of Stratocaster bridge and, bridge and saddle assembly, it's a plate. It's not an ashtray because it doesn't have any walls on the side, but these screws right here that actually, there's 4 of them that hold the bridge in place, the bridge plate, interfere with the string height adjustments on the saddles. That one right there is being interfered with by that screw. I'm going to try to illustrate that a little closer. That saddle screw is being interfered with. It's sitting on that mounting screw for the bridge. That is a design flaw from Fender. There's not a lot you can do with it. I have always dreamed about pulling these off, bracing and filling these holes and putting other mounting holes back here farther and maybe one here and one here, right? To eliminate that interference. And this is what keeps me up at night. When you look at the saddles, they're not exactly straight because they're being interfered with. Their feet, their adjustment screws, their set screws are being interfered with. This one, this one, this one, and the high E outboard one. And that's a critical one because, yeah, if I turn that right now, it will actually pull that saddle over. Right now, I think I have it set where I want it, and I really don't want to lower it, but it has to go down. And I know the minute that I unscrew that, take the tension off and try to lower it, it's going to get pulled over into that bridge, that large bridge Phillips head, screw head right there. And it goes click, and it pulls over. And guess what it does? It pulls the string over. Now, once you have tension on it, you're okay once you get it set. But you have to remember, every time that you restring this instrument, you have to make sure you're off of that screw head and over on the flat part of the bridge. That's a design flaw from Fender. There's no other way to explain it. It just is what it is. Together, we're going to try to lower that saddle because that one is actually high. And I'm going to show you what I mean, because I think as soon as I try to unscrew that, it'll probably make a liar out of me. That's the one that I think is high. Yeah, I want to lower that one slightly. Everything else is kind of right where I would leave it, right where I would want it. Which one are you? A little bit smaller. Yeah. No, this is where my day goes to crap. Let's see if it pulls over. Down. And down. And again, you know, all things are the same. All the same rules apply. You want your saddle to be level. It is now. I don't know what that did to our tuning, but there we go. Let's see if I got the adjustment that I wanted. Perfect. I am setting them at 5/64. I don't care what anybody says. That's where I want them. The A is perfect. I think the E needs to come up slightly, and the low E is one of them as well that is being interfered. The outside adjustment screw for the saddle is this one. Actually literally sits right on the screw head. That's the mounting screw. I need to come up. I'm going about a half a turn. It didn't move, but it's literally sitting on not a flat surface. It's sitting on the screw head right there. Tune it. Check. This is final adjustment on this, by the way. Let's see if that got us where we want to live. I think so. Perfect. I love it. You guys can argue ad nauseum 4/64s, 3/64s. Want my action as low as possible. I know what this guitar, I know what this instrument is going to bear, and I'm setting them at 5/64s. Let's check our intonation. This is where things go sideways. I hope you can still see my tuner. It's a little sharp. I want to bring that saddle back, and that's where we're going to get into more trouble, because as we slide that back, that saddle may want to try to kick out. Loosen our tension, because it's sharp, so we need to lengthen. We need to pull our saddle. I can see the saddle just tried to move. It tried to move in that direction. We're going to try that. I'm going to live with that. Yeah, I'm going to live with that. Let's try our A. Dead on. It can't be. I can live with that. Well, sometimes I just surprise my own damn self. And I wanted to illustrate how quickly and easily these saddles can like jump out of place. I know this client. The only reason I say that is because I know this client. I know he's going to want to booger around with this stuff. And the minute he does, he's going to throw string spacing off. Because if you don't pay so close attention to these things being pulled together and staying off of those screw heads, once I get it set, leave it. The string tension will do the rest of the job, right? It will hold those saddles in place, and this guitar is ready to play. It's ready to play. It will live with this neck. This Stratocaster will live with that, or this Telecaster will live with that Stratocaster neck. And it's intonated. It's got good string height. It's got great neck relief, nice and straight. Everything else is ready to roll. I know everything else is good because I already rewired this guitar. Right? Something going on with our, I wonder if we got some dirt or something or dust in there. Yeah, I gotta clean that pot. Something sounds like it went out of tune. What happened? Probably when I picked it up. Yep. There we go. There we go. I love it. I love it. This guitar is going to live like this now. If he takes it apart or tries to adjust it, it's on him. Off camera, I'm going to pull this, open it, and spray some deoxit in there. Yeah, we got a bad contact in that pot. Right at the very end. Something dusty in there. It happens. It happens. Alright. This guitar is ready to go back to its owner. Oddball stuff. I didn't invent this. Everybody's been changing, you know, Fender parts since they were invented. Like I say a million times, I have a P-bass neck on one of my jazz basses only because I don't like the P-bass body. So I put a P-bass neck on one of my jazz basses. Enough of that. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. I hope this kind of made a conclusion to what happened. There was so much work that I had to do in between that it wasn't feasible to film it. I hope that it kind of came to conclusion today with my explanation. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe. We'll talk soon.